Very good morning, dear students. So today we are going to discuss the last two ratios of profitability ratio under that operating ratio and operating profit ratio. Okay. So here we are going to discuss first what is the operating ratio, the meaning, definition and explanation. Okay. So the operating ratio nothing but establishes the relationship between operating costs, nothing but cost of revenue from operations, then operating expenses and revenue from operations. Okay. So these all are together here. The cost of revenue from operations and operating expenses together. We will discuss about operating ratio. So nothing but preparation of cost of revenue from operations and operating expenses to revenue from operations. Okay. So here, what is the meaning of operating cost? The costs which are incurred for operating activities of the business. Okay, that's what you will say operating cost. So nothing but employee benefit expenses and other expenses. So what is non-operating incomes and expenses? Also, we consider here. So incomes and expenses which are not incurred for operating activities of the business are excluded. So it's not related to the business. Okay, that's what it is called non-operating incomes and expenses. Okay. So what is the operating ratio here? The non-operating incomes and expenses. So what are the items coming under non-operating incomes? Nothing but interest and dividends received, interest on loans and debentures, and gain, profit or loss on sale of fixed assets. Then non-operating income is shown in the statement of profit and loss as other income. Okay, in a statement of profit you will see there under that. Then non-operating expenses are given in the note to accounts on other expenses. Okay, and in note to accounts you will see non-operating expenses in a other expenses, the statement of profit or loss. So accordingly we will consider for the work. Okay. See what is the formula for operating ratio? So nothing but cost of goods sold plus operating expenses divided by total revenue into 100. We express everything into 100, express in percentage. Okay. Here you already know what is the meaning of cost of revenue from operations. It's nothing but opening inventory, again excluding spare parts and loose tools. Then we have to add net purchases. So as you know already what is net purchases? Purchases minus purchase return. Then direct expenses and closing inventory. Also here also excluding spare parts and loose tools. Similarly, another calculation also you can discuss for cost of revenue from operations. Nothing but cost of material consumed. Then we want to add net purchases of stock in trade. Then changes in inventories of finished goods, work in progress and stock in trade. We have to add direct expenses. Okay. Then third one is also what is the meaning of cost of revenue from operations is nothing but revenue from operations minus gross profit. Okay. So that's what the year 4 discussion under that the meaning of cost of revenue from operations. Okay. So that's why from the available information we want to substitute all this information. Then. So what is the operating expenses? So as you know already, employee benefit expenses, depreciation and amortization expenses, and other expenses other than non-operating expenses. Okay. So what is office expenses plus administrative expenses? Also we can call selling and distribution expenses. Okay. Then we have to add again employee benefit expenses and depreciation and amortization expenses. That's why here two type of operating expenses. Okay. So you should be very careful from the available information we want to substitute here from the operating expenses point of view. Okay. Then what is the operating ratio here? So another formula also we can mention here. Operating cost divided by revenue from operations into 100. Okay. So operating cost, cost of material consumed, purchase of stock in trade, plus changes in inventories of finished goods, then work in progress, thereafter stock in trade, employee benefit expenses, then depreciation and amortization expenses, then other expenses, so other than non-operating expenses. Okay, objective and significance. To assess the operational efficiency of the business, shows the percentage of revenue from operations that is observed by the cost of revenue from operations, cost of goods sold and operating expenses. So as rise in the operating ratio indicates decline in efficiency. Okay. So here the lower operating ratio is better because it leaves higher profit margin to meet non-operating expenses to pay dividend. Okay, that is the idea here for objective and significance. So thereafter, what is the meaning of operating profit ratio? Nothing but relationship between operating profit and revenue from operations. That's what here, operating profit. That you should be very careful what is operating ratio and operating profit ratio. So definitely confusion will come. Here, what is the formula for here? It's nothing but operating profit divided by net sales into 100. Okay. So here what is the meaning of operating profit here? Gross profit plus other operating income minus other operating expenses, or net profit before tax plus non-operating expenses, thereafter losses minus non-operating incomes. Okay. Say there are two ways of calculation of operating profit. One, we want to add from gross profit plus other operating income minus other operating expenses, or net profit before tax plus non-operating expenses, losses minus non-operating incomes. So what is the meaning of revenue from operations? Cost of revenue from operations plus gross profit. Okay, that is the idea here. Okay. Here what is the meaning of non-operating expenses? Here expenses which are not incurred to earn profit. That's what, not related to the business. Okay. So then what is the example here? Interest on long-term borrowings, loss on sale of fixed assets. Okay. So what's the non-operating income? Incomes which are not earned from the operating activities of the business. Interest on investments, gain on sale of non-current assets. Okay. Then here what is the objective and significance? To determine operational efficiency of the business, that is very, very important objective here. An increase in the ratio over previous period shows the improvement in the operational efficiency of the business enterprises. That's what our operating profit ratio.